Welcome in, episode number 79 of the St0ner Sports Radio Podcast. Joining me once again is friend and co-host Zach Huffman. We're going to hit up week 4 of the college football season as it is rip-roaring and heading into week 5 this weekend. We'll have Zach break down what happened against Tennessee with his Oklahoma Sooners. We'll go through the NFL and give you everything you need to know concerning the National Football League developments and such. Visit the Sports Book and give you updates on our picks and how we look heading into the weekend. And Zach, a be happy Friday, not very happy for you. Go ahead and explain kind of why you're feeling such.
One, we lost to Tennessee. Two, Oklahoma's just in a terrible position injury-wise. I mean, if you've seen the injury report, it's very long. Top 5 wide receivers all out. We're reliant pretty much on entirely a second-string offense at this point. I don't know how else to put it. We're fucked.
Yeah, not looking good for you. Injury report riddled with the injury bug biting every single aspect of the team that matters. So, definitely something to break down there. But there were plenty of games over the weekend other than just that one. So you want to, let's run through them here. Some top 25 matchups. Let's start with a good one, a dandy. It was Texas beating up on General Booty and UL Monroe 51-3 behind the arm of Arch Manning. Look, we kind of rolled with the Booty Meister this weekend. We thought the ULM would cover. They didn't. They didn't cover the 44 and a half. They lose by 48. Is Arch Manning for real here, or we just gotta calm down here because this is ULM?
It could be both. I think Arch Manning is for real though. I mean, when you take a look at him, the dude can move. He can straight sling it. And I mean, he's already proven capable of being able to beat, good teams. But it is ULM. Now, I'm pretty upset with General for not getting the job done against Texas.
Yeah,
not even covering 44. Come on,
General. What are we doing? Yeah, nothing really to take away there. I mean, 15 of 29, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns for Arch Manning. That doesn't include his rushing stats, which were also pretty decent. Moving on here, number 3 in the country, Ohio State. They just, put it all over Marshall, 49-14. This game was tied at 7 at the end of the first quarter, but Marshall just couldn't hang on. It was 28-14 at halftime, and then Marshall just didn't score the rest of the game. Got outscored 21-0. Anything to note from this?
Honestly, Ohio State needs to look a little bit better for me. They aren't looking as good as they should. I don't know if they're number 3 in the country. I would argue that, Tennessee might be better than they are. I'm disappointed in Ohio State, honestly. I think Ryan Day's probably on the hot seat after this season.
Yeah, but we'll kind of see how that goes. I mean, stats-wise, it looks good on paper, right? Will Howard, 16-20, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns. Judkins, 14 for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns, and 5 catches for 117 touchdown. So the guys, the stars are doing what stars are supposed to do, right? I don't know if I'm going to call Will Howard a star, but he's just doing what he's supposed to do. The stars are helping him do that. Yeah, I mean, 49 points. I feel like that number could be a little higher. I don't know if they pulled everybody to start the fourth quarter because they were up 42-14. If that's the case, I mean, I guess I can kind of forgive that. But I mean, they should have at least put a 50 burger on them. What are we doing? 7 points in the first quarter. I mean, that's with your starters. That's unacceptable. You need to be able to jump on. You need to be able to jump on this team and blow.
You need to have a 3-position lead at halftime.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's a little concerning. But Marshall's not bad. They just have a really tough schedule, but they're not good. But I mean, it was like, I guess 14 points. You can kind of justify that, I guess, but they should all have been in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? You can't allow touchdowns in the first half against a team like that. You saw how that worked out for Notre Dame. It didn't work out for Notre Dame. They lost that game. Fantastic moment. Ole Miss takes care of Georgia. Southern, the number 5 team in the country, wins over the Eagles 52-13. Jackson Dart, another 380 plus yard performance, 4 touchdowns, only 9 incompletions. Um, I mean, Ole Miss just rolling.
Yeah, completely rolling, and I mean Jackson Dart's right there in the Heisman race because of it. Just throwing insane numbers. This Lane Kiffin offense is very, very impressive.
I mean, they've got a big game this weekend that we'll talk about in a second, but yeah, it's looking like Ole Miss is doing what they're supposed to do as far as beating bad teams by racking up just massive amounts of numbers. Um, Miami beats South Florida 50-15. Just a beat down. Miami playing currently right now as well, but I mean overall looking good. And South Florida's real bad. They're real bad.
Real bad. Makes that Alabama game kind of worrisome.
Yeah, that's something to think about. Penn State shuts out Kent State 56-0. Nothing really to take away there other than the Kent State flashes are horrendous. Um, BYU in a shocker upsets number 13 Kansas State 38-9. And look, I mean, we got to give it up to ourselves here. I mean, we were riding the Cougars big time. I mean, give me the whole Cougar tail. They gave it right up the keister hole of the Kansas State Wildcats. I mean, no touchdowns, 3 field goals, all in the first 3 quarters, no points allowed in the fourth quarter, and just blowing the doors off of these Wildcats at home in Provo. I mean, what was your takeaway? My takeaway was, whoa.
I mean, just completely blew away preseason expectations, right? Just completely threw those out the window in terms of beating up the Wildcats there. That was just crazy. I didn't expect that at all, but I'm proud of how they showed out because that's a great win for the conference.
Oh yeah, I mean it shows how competitive some of these unranked Big 12 teams. They're not just pushovers. They can jump up and bite you, and that's what happened. You went to a night game in Provo and you got cooked. I mean, we told you it was gonna
Mm-hmm.
happen, Wildcat fans. We told you. We said, look, you're gonna go up there and you're gonna get slapped around. It's not gonna be close. We were riding hard, and you know what? There was nothing better than my head hitting the pillow, knowing that those storming Mormons got it done, baby. I mean, it was just
The
the
chocolate milk was flowing.
yeah, it was flowing for real. Um, LSU beats UCLA 34-17. UCLA is real bad, Zach. I mean, this team might not even win 5 games. I think this UCLA team is probably going to win 2 games this year. They're terrible. I mean, they're awful, and their schedule does them
Yeah,
no
I mean,
favors.
there's no other way to put it. They're straight up terrible.
I mean, the fact this game was tied at halftime, LSU should be embarrassed. You're tied at 7.
LSU terrible.
I mean, they should have they should have lost all their games. Every single game they've played, they should have lost. I mean, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Every single game they've played should have been an L. They're getting lucky, and they're getting lucky that these teams are super bad because the minute they play anybody decent, it's above average. They're getting cooked. I'm just letting you know. The minute LSU walks into one of these games where it's like, oh, this team's over 500, they're getting smacked. Okay, like it's not
Mm-hmm.
gonna be close. It's gonna be embarrassing, and we're gonna be sitting there like we told you. We told you what was going to happen. I mean, they haven't played anybody that's worth a damn, and it shows. I mean,
Yeah, we told you LSU's terrible. They've played terrible all season.
yeah,
They're getting lucky.
yeah, they're getting lucky. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll let you know how that goes. But as of right now, not impressed at all with the Tigers. Also not impressed with Notre Dame. 28-3 win over Miami of Ohio. You're like, oh, should you be impressed? I mean, look, this is pedestrian. This Miami of Ohio team is bad. If Notre Dame wants to be back in the good graces with me, they got to win that game 76-0. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, you've got to pound them into the dirt to get any respect back. I mean, the season's cooked. This is not a playoff team. Like, have fun next year. Like, just pack it in. Like, it's done. Riley Leonard's bad. He did not assimilate to this Notre Dame offense the way that he could have. I don't think they're utilizing him right. I'll give him that. I don't think. I mean, if you're running the same offense Duke is running, which they can't because their running backs aren't good enough and their line isn't good enough, um, you're probably going to have more success. But he just doesn't have the tools around him that he needs to succeed. And I don't think they're putting him in positions to make plays. And when they're wanting him to throw, and he's not a throwing quarterback. That's the problem.
yeah, 100%. Just like you said, though, I don't see them being a playoff team whatsoever. I don't see them even being ranked at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's not going good for Marcus Freeman. Is he on the hot seat? Is Marcus Freeman on the hot seat?
I don't know if he's on the hot seat
I
because I
don't.
feel like he's continued Notre Dame's consistency.
I feel like he's really good with old people too. Like I feel like he's really good at selling the brand to these old donors. I feel like they love him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got that long lost grandson vibe for some of these old donors for this behemoth that is.
Yeah,
Eh,
maybe. I think. Well, he might be on the hot seat. Honestly, they might just bring back Lou.
Wheel him out. I'm gonna say dig him
Wheel him
up.
out.
Dig him up. He's not making it. Dig it up. Dig it up. um, I think he passes away before that happens. But R.I.P. Let's see. Louisville beats up on Georgia Tech 31-19. I say beat up, but I mean like this Georgia Tech team. I mean, remember when we thought they were going to be okay? Like, I mean,
Oh, I'm sorry, my headphones died.
wow, unprofessional headphones are dead. Wow, we're just checking all the boxes, checking all, and it's frozen. What's happening? We're getting cooked. Look, no, I'll wait till he gets his ears on. He'll let me know. But look, we remember the
I don't know what
days
happened.
where
We're
he just.
back.
Oh, okay, all right, good. You can hear me. We're good.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I might have just hit the button or something. I don't know.
Okay, okay.
I don't think they're dead.
I was talking about Georgia Tech. I was like, remember when we thought they were going to be decent, and now it's like, are you going to be?
Yeah,
I mean, is the real
or
surprise
is just terrible.
Is the real surprise Louisville here? I mean, are teams supposed to be scared of Louisville? Is Louisville good?
Yeah, their ACC championship good.
Okay. I mean, I just preseason. I don't think we saw them being this good. I don't remember saying they were going to be. I think I picked them as my third choice to make it to the ACC championship game. Might have even been lower than that.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely didn't expect this, but so far we got to say that they're playing good. Man, this live spread between Miami and Virginia Tech is going crazy right now. It's, it's 14-7, and the first quarter is about to end in favor of Miami, and
Why is the
it just
line
shifted
minus
to
21 and
minus
a half?
21 and a half.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Something I have it like their 4 yard line. They're about to punch it in again. They think they're about to recover an onside kick and then score again before the end of the quarter. Um, Iowa State, they beat Arkansas State 52-7. Iowa State undefeated. I mean, Matt Campbell for real, or I mean, again, this is me just going out and saying it. They haven't played anybody. Okay, like Iowa's their best win. You barely pulled that off if it wasn't for Iowa collapsing and shitting the bed. I mean, look, Matt Campbell, you might be 3-0, but you're on the hot seat, buddy. You're on the hot seat. I'm sorry. I mean, you
Yeah.
may not feel it, but it's still hot. Like, I mean, you haven't done shit. Like, I mean, it's like, oh, 3-0. Let's just blow our load on Iowa State. Like, no, dude, they're not going to be ranked by end of the year. This team is mid. They just got lucky with Iowa. And people were like, oh, rank them bitches. Like, I mean, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you though. Matt Campbell's got to be on the hot seat. Just been so mid for so long. Like, if you're
100%.
not going to finish the season at least in contention for the Big 12 championship at some point, I mean, he's got to go.
Yeah, it's been too long. It's been too long, and the results haven't been there. I think that's just kind of the way it is. And I don't think Matt Campbell's a bad coach. I don't even think he's a bad guy. I just think that it's Iowa State. Like you're not bringing that team to like playoff like it. You're not gonna have like a TCU season with Iowa State. I don't see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't.
Yeah.
The tools aren't there. It's a basketball school. Like I don't know what to tell you.
100%.
Clemson looks like they're trying to get their footing. 59-35 win over NC State. I mean, NC State's real bad. I mean, I don't know if we really had them being great going into the season, but I mean, I think Clemson, are they turning it up a little bit? Are they raising your eyebrows at all? Or are we still like, Clemson?
I mean, I think that they've lost their defense once they lost Brent Venables. I mean, how you lost 35 from NC State? That's not very good.
And 21 in the fourth
So
quarter.
personally, I think Clemson's fine on offense, but defensively, no, they look terrible, and I don't think that they're going to be able to finish this season out playing against some of these better teams. When you think about like Miami, if they have to play Miami maybe in the ACC championship, I think they're going to get their ass kicked.
Well, I mean, and here's the other thing: is I think the score is looking a little bit worse than it is. That game was 59-14 going into the fourth quarter, and they pulled like everybody, and then NC State scores 21 straight in the fourth. So I don't know if they really allowed 35 points, but I mean, like, you did. But NC State was like, we're keeping the starters out here to make this look respectable. Like, maybe at the end of the year when we're trying to squeeze in, because they're like, we could still do 10-2, we can still do it, and they're like, if we do it, they're gonna be like, oh, bad loss. Like, well, you have to remember, maybe they're thinking that approach. Like, I don't know, like, I don't see the point of keeping your starters in down, 45 points. I mean, and if it was the backups beating up on Clemson's backups, I mean, again, that just proves how bad Clemson's depth is, because Dabo Sweeney's like, oh, I'm allergic to the transfer portal. Jesus wouldn't like it.
Yeah, he's allergic to paying people.
Yeah, stingy bitch. I'm giving it all to the church. I mean, well, I made deacon this year. Fantastic. I get to pass around the plate and the wine. It's fantastic.
I think he's on a mission to turn Clemson into a Baptist college.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I think he's turning into a preacher. Um, Here was another upset that happened, and I say upset with like the least amount of excitement. Buffalo beats Northern Illinois 23-20. Upset of the city, baby. After Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame again, rank that bitch, and then back down with it, you piece of shit. Like, I mean, again, like what is this? Like, the score was bad, the game was boring. I mean, congrats to Buffalo, I guess. I mean, you're 3-1. Congrats. Are we gonna rank Buffalo now?
No, you can't. I think Notre Dame's just terrible.
That just means
Like,
Buffalo would have won by
we're
10.
not gonna rank Buffalo because they beat a team that beat Northern Illinois that beat Notre Dame. Like,
Oh, it's happening. It's happening. It's the big win, big win. That just means Buffalo would have won by 21 plus against Notre Dame. That's all that means, The
I think it
process,
means that Notre Dame needs to be ranked in like number 40.
like, unranked now. Like, what are you doing still here? And then the last top 25 matchup before local games here is Texas A&M 26, Bowling Green 20. Bowling Green's been giving these people some tough games. I mean, Bowling Green's been showing up. Like, they get that check, and they're like, we ain't just cashing this check. Like, we're here to knock some heads. They've been giving some teams some problems. Penn State had problems. Texas A&M had problems. Is Bowling Green on the rise here? Like, are they going to be one of the best teams? Like, are they in the MAC? Like, I mean, they got to be up there, right?
Oh yeah, they're getting up there and matching for sure. Getting some matching in the MAC, and I could see Bowling Green getting up there and being contending for that G5 spot. Going forward.
Yeah, I mean, they look like a team that, like, if you put them in the ACC right now, it might be middle of the pack ACC. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's easy middle of the pack, like above 500 conference record type shit. Like, I think they would do well. Um, that's how good they're playing right now. Now, will that continue? I know Bazelak. Here's a question for you, and this might be stupid as fuck, but is he a better option at quarterback than Brady Cook from Missouri? Are they really missing Bazelak? Because I feel like Bazelak's playing a lot better than Cook this season.
I don't think you can make that comparison compared to who they're playing.
Hey, their
And
schedule. Bazelak's schedule's been tougher, and he's putting up good stats. I don't know what you're talking about. 250 against Texas A&M, throwing for over 300 against Penn State. Brady Cook's
just
playing
wait till
who?
Burden.
Vermont.
Just wait till Luther Burden really gets going, and then we'll have a talk again.
All right, yeah, we'll reconvene here about 3 weeks when I'm just like, well, Bowling Green's 1-9. I don't know how that happened. But I think they're still missing Bazelak a little bit. But last game we're gonna cover before I hand it over to you here. Utah goes on the road and beats Okie State 22-19. Story for you. Bowman got pulled in this game. Like, Bowman got benched, and they put in Garrett Rangel to try to bring home the W. And I don't know about you, probably not the move I would have made. I would have said Zane Flores, get out there and give us a shot. I don't really like Rangel personally. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I don't even think he's back. I think Flores is probably a better option. they decided to go that route. Oklahoma State does score 16 points in the fourth quarter, but this game was 13-3 heading into the fourth. Zach Wilson's older brother, looked okay. 17-29, 207 yards, touchdown. But really, it was the running game at Utah. 25 carries and 180 yards for the running back Micah Bernard. And Ollie Gordon once again held under 70 yards rushing. I mean, obviously Oklahoma State looks like they're having similar problems like OU with their offensive line not probably being as good as advertised. Was it the right move though to bench Bowman? Like I mean I know we only got you 3 points through 3 quarters, but I mean is that something that you think is smart when you have a guy like him that's a veteran presence and him, and then Rangel I guess made a little bit of a push late?
I think it's always a good decision to bench Bowman. I mean, come on, the dude sucks. It's okay. He's old. He sucks. He's not going to the NFL. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not give Rangel a shot, I guess. I personally don't want to give Oklahoma State the same excuses as Oklahoma because OU at least is hurt. Oklahoma State's just bad. Now, with this loss to Utah, what are we thinking Oklahoma State conference wise? I'm still thinking like probably 11-1.
The schedule works out pretty good for them. Again, this weekend is big for them. They've got Kansas State this weekend, folks. If you don't know, we'll touch on that here during the sports book segment here in a minute. But this is, it's only a 3-point loss. Also, you have to look at it that way. It's not like you got blown out. You didn't get super cooked, And if Bowman really played really bad and Gundy was just like, look, man, like we can take an L. Let's just put Rangel in there and just let the kids sling it and see what happens. Put a couple tutties on the board with 2-point conversions. Made it look respectable, but I don't think there was any shot of like him coming back and winning that game for Oklahoma State, and I don't think Utah was like scared of that at all. In my opinion, I don't think that was how Whittingham's head was like, oh, we're gonna lose Garrett Rangel coming in. Do I think he was happy with the fact that they got outscored 16-9 in the fourth quarter and had to kind of squeeze that one out? Probably not. But I think that overall, I think maybe Gundy was just like, we'll just let Allen come back next week and regroup because now you live in an age where you can take an L.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% true, and I'm glad that that's not the situation that's happening in Oklahoma either, because Jackson Arnold has to go. If we're gonna talk about that,
Yeah,
if we're gonna talk about
let's
problem is.
Yeah, let's transition. So me and you went out and treated ourselves to an evening in Norman with and overall, I'm gonna just say it. I still had a good time. I think it was still a good time. Look,
Yeah, it was good.
It was a good time, but obviously, and I think the reason we can still say it is I don't think we went in there with our expectations like, oh, OU's got this. You know what I'm saying? I think when you go in with expectations being like, we could lose by 50 and come away with that, it's like, look, you lost by 10. 25-15 is the final, folks. Zach will dive into this, but I'm going to just kind of set you up here. 10-point victory, for the Volunteers. And if you look at it on paper, and you don't look at the stat sheet or anything, you go, look, that's not terrible. The defense for OU got to be legit, right? Only 25 points for a team like Tennessee, who was averaging like 40 coming into the game, it felt like. You look at the offensive output for OU, and like I said, names and everything, you look at it and go, look, that's not good. Obviously, the output should be better. The running game, oh my God, what are you doing? That's like almost single digits, like holy hell. But overall, if you know that the offensive line is in shambles and you have the information right in front of you, you say not a bad loss, kind of an expected loss considering the way this was going. And like I said, we live in a time where you can take a couple on the chin and still see yourself in the college football playoff, so it doesn't negate you from that opportunity, especially in the SEC. But that's not the whole story, is it?
No, it's not the whole story. The whole story is that it was actually 22-3 going into the fourth quarter. With 9 minutes left in the game, it was 22-3, and it ended 25-15 only because Michael Hawkins Jr. was able to get a couple drives in and muster up a couple points with some heroics down in the red zone, flipping over into the end zone, etc. Listen, Jackson Arnold was terrible. There's no other way to put it. First quarter, dude basically lost the game in the first quarter. You're fumbling within your own 5-yard line. Not a forced fumble, just you fumbling it. You're you're underthrowing a backwards pass, turns into another unforced fumble. I mean, just throwing terrible interception. A terrible interception when you have Deion Birds wide open. You are throwing it into the double coverage. The dude was playing like shit. He was playing like he was in fucking middle school quarterback, fucking B team middle school football. This shit was absolutely terrible. The decision making that he was going in on. I have no explanation for how this dude has been so terrible this year, considering the expectations that he had coming into this season, the expectations that he had coming into college in general, considering he was the number one player in the country in high school. The dude was Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean, he was that dude. He was supposed to be that guy, and he simply isn't. And now we're looking into Auburn with Michael Hawkins Jr. starting. But like you said, Jetson Arnold, he gets benched in the second quarter, and we don't really get anything going until the fourth quarter. I'm not convinced that we have a good offense at all, even if Michael Hawkins Jr. comes into the game, because you look at the fucking rushing stats. I mean, Jesus Christ, can we have anybody rush for anything? Is that even possible? I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's happening. I think we're fucking terrible. I don't know how else to put it. I'm not excited at all. I'm not excited at all.
Yeah,
His headphones turned off again. Let's turn them back on. It's so
not,
weird. I don't know what's going on there.
It's not looking.
But I don't need to hear, because I'm still going in on how fucking terrible that Oklahoma. We have no fucking line. We have half of our defenses out. Literally 5 fucking receivers out. I don't see how we win this game.
Yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, it's rough for you for sure. I don't think there's any way around that. Do any of the guys that came in late, wide receiver wise, kind of give you a little bit of hope? I mean, Petaway came in and had some good catches there late from Michael Hawkins, guy that I think going a little earlier than now. But I've heard with him, it's been about out treatment and like some. They can only give him like 7 or 8 routes or something like that. Can't process anymore. That's what I was hearing from a minute thing with him. I was like, this guy can't play, So maybe we'll see more of him. Maybe, Zion Raggins comes in and has 1 catch for 10 yards. He's supposed to be some stud receiver for you guys for like a couple years. I mean, are any of these guys going to even get the ball thrown to them? Because at this point, you look at Michael Hawkins, 11 of 18, 130 touchdown turnovers, QBR of 58.9 out of 100. I mean, a big upgrade from Jackson Arnold, who plays a quarter and a half, right? Quarter and a half, a little bit over that. Goes 7 of 16 for 50 yards and a pick. A QBR of, you want to guess what that QBR is? Or are you looking at it?
What is it, 1?
1.3. 1.3 QBR 1.3. Out of 100. So not a good day for him. Nico for Tennessee, a 62 out of 100. He, was held in check mainly because they didn't need him to do anything, because they ran for 150 yards on 50 carries. Simpson had a pretty decent game, but nobody had a big game per se as far as like consistently. You had 2 guys that caught long passes for Tennessee, and that was it. That was kind of the offense for the whole entire game. So I have to kind of give it up to both defenses. I don't know how much I can give it up to Tennessee's defense, because I don't know what kind of a concept of offense that they're defending. But I mean, like, good for them. But I think the big thing is this defense is legit, right, Zach? I mean, we watched this thing. This defense gave you every opportunity to be in this ball game.
Yeah, 100%. The defense is legit. The defense is still one of the best ones in the country, I think. Holding Tennessee to 25. I think, and I'm maybe I'm just being a sore, loser, but I think Tennessee might be a top 3 team in the country.
I mean, they're playing like it. I mean, I think that win is big enough to yeah, that's good, But I think that I just think they need a couple. I think they need to beat like an Alabama or somebody
Yeah.
a little bit better. I guess. I mean, when are we gonna get that game? It's opening. See, we're getting that game in a couple weeks, I think, right? Yeah, literally from now. So October 19th, they play Alabama. They've got Arkansas and Florida next. I mean, they should coast through. I mean, Arkansas is not. I mean, they have a bye week this week. They have Arkansas next week. Um, and Arkansas is not bad. They could challenge this Tennessee defense a little bit more than anybody else they've played this year. I'll give them that, but I don't think that Tennessee loses.
Yeah. Yeah, no way. Tennessee's coasting all the way up until they play Alabama.
Yeah, so at least that's what we've got. So there's kind of your top 25 kind of wrap up there. Zach kind of breaking down Tennessee, and now we can kind of give you one of my favorite segments, the 2-minute NFL quick hits. This is where I go through the scores, and Zach stops me and tells me to shut up while he explains why these games matter. First game on the menu. Hey, guess what, folks? It's Jets Patriots. This was actually going on and already concluded when we recorded the episode, but 24-3, the Jets dispose of the Patriots. No surprise there. Aaron Rodgers kind of looked to form, 27-35, 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. Good for my fantasy team. Good for him. Moving on to the first game without Tua Tagovailoa for the Dolphins, and they get smoked by the Seahawks, 24-3. No surprises there. Moving on down the line, the Giants get the win over the Browns, 21-15, in a game that was about as entertaining as watching paint dry. And then going down the list, the Packers blow out the Titans, 30-14. Will Levis stinking it up again, folks, and Malik Willis leading
Absolutely terrible.
Georgia, leaving Green Bay to a 2-0 record without Jordan Love. They've got a big game this weekend with the Vikings. So we'll see how good really Malik Willis is behind this line of Green Bay and see how much they lean him, as Sam Darnold is cookity schmookity. And when I say cookity schmookity, he cookity schmookity again this last week. Sammy Darnold, my man, looking fantastic, beating up on the Texans 34-7. Was not the best quarterback out of this as far as yardage wise, but threw for 4 touchdowns in short yardage situations due to turnovers from C.J. Stroud. What was your takeaway from the Vikings just beat the shit out of the Texans?
Holy fuck, is Sam Darnold that guy? Is Sam Darnold that guy? Is he in the MVP race? Just this man has come in and he started slinging it. He's slinging it.
I mean, I did a poll on Twitter. I said, is he a late bloomer? Is he still just a solid backup that you would want to have, or is this just him just being on a heater? And people said maybe he's just a real late bloomer, and maybe it just takes being in an offense that fits you, and again, massive amount of wide receiver talent around him as well. I mean, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson are some of the top wide receivers in the league. So you've got tools. You've got tools, and that defense is good. I like the Vikings right now. We'll see if they can continue this, but so far, like you said, super impressive.
Yeah, 100%. I like the Vikings to maybe even challenge the Lions for the NFC North.
Yeah, would not be surprised if they keep playing like this. They could very well be representing that side in some big playoff games. I don't think I'm going to go far as to be like, oh, they're going to the Super Bowl, baby. But, I mean, this is a team that going into the season, you didn't see them having this much success, especially with Sam Darnold back there after the J.J. McCarthy injury. So good for the Vikings to have what essentially right now looks like huge quarterback depth. So good for them. The Colts beat up on I say beat up. They beat the Bears 21-16. Caleb Williams and company. Not looking too bad. But just he's still kind of getting in the rhythm of being an NFL quarterback, and I think that offensive line for the Bears is a lot worse than people thought going into the seasons. Lots of that going on, pro and
Yeah, but
college.
Rome Odunze comes in and he has a nice little breakout game.
Oh yeah, Roman Dunze is for real. These Ohio State wide receivers might be a 30 for 30. We talk about years down the line about how, they were all on the same team and couldn't get the job done. Especially with
Mm,
C.J. Stroud being the quarterback too. That's just has 30 for 30 written all over it. Like, how? Like,
mm.
so that's something to think about there. The Eagles beat the Saints 15-12. This was a big shock for me because the Saints had just been playing so damn well. And I guess this defense for the Eagles just decided to show up this week because the offense still hasn't. How do we feel about the Eagles right now? And how do we feel about the Saints after this?
I'm still feeling like the Saints are one of the better teams in the NFC. I mean, they just look so talented. And the Eagles finally got their shit together, I think. Even going all the way back to last season when they finished, losing like 5 out of the last 6 games, and then coming into this season not looking great. Yeah, I think the Eagles really needed this one. Um, Saquon's really a difference maker.
Yeah, he's the only reason they win that game. They had no points until the fourth quarter, and Saquon had 2 touchdowns in the fourth. That's what put them over the top of the Saints. They had to go for 2 after one of those touchdowns and got it to make it a 3-point game there late. But yeah, he was the difference maker, and for once had a really good game, and that's what we were kind of waiting for. He's 17 carries, 147 yards, 2 huge touchdowns. Sure, it wasn't until the fourth quarter, which again, if you were looking at this game and you turned it off after the third quarter, it's 3-0 Saints heading into the fourth. I mean, I'm thinking the Saints probably finished the job, right? You're going this long without scoring. You're Philadelphia. They've still got problems. They've still got problems.
Oh yeah, big problems over there in Philly for sure. And if my Cowboys weren't absolutely terrible, then they might have some problems in the NFC East.
Yeah, I agree with that. Speaking of, Ravens beat the Cowboys 28-25. 19 fourth quarter points, not enough to make the epic comeback as Baltimore just kind of let this thing kind of just like get away from them. I don't know how, but they did. Um, and again, the defense just doesn't look good for the Cowboys as well as it should, especially early. And Dak just doesn't play well good from behind. And they just have a combination of both. And at the time, 1-2.
Yeah, absolutely shit. Absolute dog shit, actually. Um, we obviously are in terrible need of a wide receiver too.
Yeah, big time stuff there. The Chiefs escape the Falcons 22-17. This game kind of came down to the last drive. Kirk Cousins a chance to once again put the Falcons ahead for good on a last second drive. Couldn't get it done. Throws a pick, and that kind of ends that. But are the Falcons kind of a little squirrely? I feel like they're a little squirrely. Like they're not gonna beat you, but they're gonna give you a good game. I feel like.
They might throw a couple wrenches into the NFC South.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're at with them. Lions get the win over the Cardinals 20-13 in a good game there. Rams beat the 49ers 27-24. 49ers not looking so great right now, especially with the news that Christian McCaffrey is pretty much done for the season. They said
Yeah,
he's out for a couple more months. I think having a couple more months, if they're not in playoff contention, they just say, "Yeah, come back next season." And this team just doesn't look very good without him, which says how good of a player he is.
yeah. I think you're 100% correct. It's all about CMC. CMC being out for the next couple of months, with that injury, that's terrible, but expected if you've ever had him in fantasy. Um, I mean, at this point, fantasy wise, is he untouchable? Can you just not draft him?
I mean, yeah, I would say no because of what he's been doing recently. Like last year, like he was fine. I don't know. I just think people get unlucky, and then the word going into the season is, oh, it's not going to be that bad. Like he'll only miss a couple weeks, so you still take that first overall pick because you're like, yeah, he's going to be back eventually, and losing 2 games in fantasy is going to give you out of playoff contention likely. So, most people were still not upset with him sitting out 2 or 3 weeks, and then it was like, oh, it's gonna be a couple months. Like, well, fuck me, I guess. It wasn't really bad until that news came out earlier this week that he was gonna be missing more time. I think up until this point, it was like I can still deal with this as long as he comes back, and I don't know. It just doesn't look good. But the surprise to me about that is going into the season, I wasn't thinking, oh, because they don't have him, they're not going to be as good or not good enough to beat these teams. Like you still have Ayuk, who I don't know where the hell he's been. He got his money and just disappeared. Where is Debo Samuel? What the hell is going on with him? He's been completely just ghost mode. I just think, I mean, George Kittle has been okay, but he hasn't been like good enough to win them ball games. So, I mean, where are these other guys that are supposed to be these superstars on this 49ers team? I mean, I thought these guys were good enough to carry this team to at least another Super Bowl appearance with even without CMC because of who they are. What's happened to these guys?
I think that they are just getting old. I mean, simply put, they're just getting old. They're not going to be able to move as much as they were. And CMC was kind of, I think, that spark that they all needed, right? And kind of he distracts so much of the defense that it draws a lot of attention, his way. And we did a lot less attention on some of these other guys like Kittle. But now I think Kittle's going to be getting a lot more attention because he had that one good game. Now he was hurt, and I think he's coming back this week. I'm not 100% on that. But we'll see if he can do and can produce maybe a 100-yard game, from the tight end position. I know he doesn't catch as much as he used to. He's more of a blocking tight end. It feels like now. Um, Debo, in terms of Debo, I think he's just old. I don't know how else to put it. He might just be getting there.
Yeah, very, very, very well could be that. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. A couple more to go through here. Steelers beat the Chargers 20-10. Chargers get their first loss. I mean, I just don't think the Chargers are very good. I mean, as much as I love Justin Herbert for who he is, they're just never going to be relevant. Like as much as I want good things for them, it's never going to be them that's going to be stepping into even the last four teams with a chance to go Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't think Jim's the guy. Um, this team's not going to be anything special.
Yeah, but the Steelers, hey, 3-0 with Justin Fields, a quarterback. I don't think you can bring in Russell Wilson now. I don't think you can do that. I don't.
Mhm.
I think you have to ride Justin the rest of the season. But what I've heard is they might still be thinking about, uh, you know, putting in after he gets better. So we'll see if that happens.
Looking first for a second. Hold on. Jeez.
It's all right. We're living the dream right.
All right, we're here. We're
All
here.
right.
We're here. Jeez.
But yeah, they're thinking about still going back to him after he gets better. I just don't see how you can do that right now.
No, you can't. You can't move to Russ. You have to stick with Justin Fields. I mean, you're 3-0.
Yeah, and some teams that have been looking at Russell Wilson in particular. I heard that was it that um maybe the Giants. Oh no, the Dolphins. The Dolphins are looking at Russell Wilson of the that's who it was. The Dolphins. I don't think. I mean, maybe Russell Wilson in Miami wouldn't be too bad.
I gotta switch mode. Sorry.
He's got more weapons than he would ever have
I gotta
with
switch up the headphones.
Philadelphia with Pittsburgh. I mean, you put him on Pittsburgh, and it's like you've got two guys that can catch the ball for you. But if you go to Miami, you've got a slew of receivers, and you've got Achan, and I mean, I think it would be a decent fit. I don't know uh, what the thoughts are about that. Can you hear me? Can't hear me yet. But yeah, I think the Steelers have been surprisingly good, shockingly good, considering the circumstances they were handed heading into the season. Um, Another kind of big upset, in my opinion, was the Broncos beating the Buccaneers. Baker and company been playing so well, but not this last weekend as Bo Nix had his coming out party. Didn't throw for a touchdown, but only had 11 incompletions, 116 yards. Looked pretty good. So big win there for the Broncos. That one to kind of give their fan base a little bit. Hear me? Okay.
Here we go. We're good now.
All right, we're good. I was gonna say the Dolphins were looking at Russell Wilson. I didn't know what your thoughts were on that.
The Dolphins are looking at Russell Wilson. I mean, I guess why not? You might as well go that way if they're not going to be able to start him in Pittsburgh anymore because you obviously have to stick with Justin Fields. I don't see any reason why Russ wouldn't want to go over there. Fits a similar profile that Tua has. Um, I could see him being successful there. I just don't know if Russ makes that move.
Yeah, I was just saying he has so many more weapons up there than he has in Pittsburgh. I think he would be able to look
Yeah,
a lot better than he would ever have looked if he had actually played a game for the Steelers. I don't think he will. Then I was just saying kind of an upset Broncos beating the Buccaneers 26-7. Bo Nix looking fantastic. Didn't throw for a touchdown, but and as well as the Buccaneers have been playing, kind of a shock to see them drop that one.
yeah, 100%. Bo Nix was actually really good, especially for my fantasy team. I kept him on the bench, but he still gave me about 26.
Yeah, he was
Um,
25 of 36 for 216 yards, no touchdowns, no picks.
Perfect. Didn't he have a rushing touchdown?
He might have had, I think he had a rushing touchdown, but didn't have a throwing touchdown, so it's not
There
listed
you
on
go.
the passing stats. Um, then
Virginia Tech's leading Miami right now, 21-14.
there you go. Big time stuff there. I love how that whoever took that minus 21.5 line get cooked. I don't know. Hopefully you picked the Virginia Tech plus 21.5 and are feeling real good right now. We'll see if that holds. But here's the last one for us. And my most surprising result of this last week, after the Raiders came off of beating the Ravens at home in a big time shocking game where Minshew did his magical stuff, Andy Dalton says, I'm turning back the clock, big boys, and drops 36 on the Raiders, and they beat them by 14. And I mean, I'm talking 319 yards and 3 tutties, Zach. I'm talking like you might need to just, I mean, the Dolphins might want to call Bryce Young and have him come up there because, I mean, I don't think you can have him suit up. It's over. Andy Dalton is going to lead this Carolina Panthers team to some wins, Zach, and it's going to not make Bryce Young look good at all.
Red Rocket's going to lead this team to the fucking Super Bowl. What are you talking
Woo!
about?
They're going to be a lot more squirrely than they could have ever been with Bryce Young. That's just what that proves because that Raiders defense is not bad. If you kept Lamar Jackson in check and did what they did last week, and I watched that game, and they did a really good job, and you do that against the Panthers at home, you're at home, and you get cooked. I mean, it was the most surprising result for me. I'm happy for Andy Dalton, but I'm just shocked about how bad Bryce Young is because if Andy Dalton can do that, what is your excuse, Bryce? There is no excuse.
Yeah, you think about all the things that Carolina really gave up for just to get Bryce Young. I mean, you're talking about Brian Burns, you're talking about Christian McCaffrey, you're talking about so many guys that were just essential to your offense. Adam Thielen. I mean, like all of these, you don't get anything in return at all.
Oh, they still got
Brian
Thielen.
Burns, Christian McCaffrey. You got Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
That's all you
that's
get.
all you got. That's all, but that's all he needed. I mean, him and Thielen were hooking up like it was old times. I mean, he made Adam Thielen look like he was, a spring chicken. These old white guys are out here cooking people. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a development. And let me just tell you right now, the schedule for the Panthers is looking very favorable. I'm just throwing this out here. You got the Bengals this week. That's a W. I'm just letting you know that's a W because the Bengals are trash. The Bengals are folding right now. It's a disaster. It's over. Like, pack it in. Season's done. I mean, I see that. I mean, the Bears
I
W.
do not endorse this.
I mean, Bears W. Falcons W. Okay, they're gonna lose to the Commanders. Probably lose to the Broncos and the Saints. W with the Giants, losing to the Chiefs and Bucs and the Eagles. W against the Cowboys. W against the Cardinals, and then losing to the Buccaneers again, and then probably beating the Falcons. So I mean, you're looking at a team that could be wild card wildin' here if things
I
go
do not endorse this at all.
impeccably well. Hey, Panthers fans, strap in, slam the over on whatever your win total is right now because Andy Dalton is coming, baby, and he ain't stopping. He's taking some of them rhinoceros, semen pills. He's spraying like a goddamn fire hydrant. That's how hard this Carolina team is headed for that wild card spot. Just strap in. I'm just letting you know he's reviving the team. Chuba Hubbard looked like a superhuman again. I'm all over it. 21 carries, 114 yards. I mean, Carolina Panthers are back, baby. It's time. It's time to Jake Delhomme this thing all the way to the Super Bowl to lose, baby. It's time.
The Raiders are terrible. This Carolina's going to win like 3 or 4 games.
All right. Well, it was worth a shot. I was trying to get you to get there. I don't think I could. I tried. I tried. You know what that means, folks? That means it's time to head over to the sportsbook, baby. If I'm telling you to slam the over on anything, don't listen to me. I'll give you the update of how this is going, and I'll let you know right now. It's going all right. You know, it's been okay. We've been out here doing okay. We're under 500. Both of us are kind of struggling right now. It's been a time. You know, it's been a time. Here are the records. Give them to you right now. Zach is 13-11 on the year. His locks of the week are 3-5. I am 10-14, and my locks though are 5-3. So if you're following my locks, we're doing all right. If you're doing anything else, follow Zach because he's winning the reggae games. I'm just my locks are just impeccably good. I mean, 2 games over 500. I mean, give me all your money. You're not losing any of it. Um, Zach, go ahead and pick first game of the week here for us. As far as money goes, am I literally? I like literally.
Listen, I'm looking straight at Kentucky and Ole Miss right now.
Oh baby, Kentucky Ole Miss.
And Ole Miss is a 15.5-point favorite on DraftKings. And look,
You
the
got
over/under is 52.
yeah, you
I'm
got
taking the over.
okay. You taking the over on that? You got $4 whole to play with, so we've got money. We got money to spend here.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that as a lock because I just think that the offenses are gonna be exploding here. Give me a full dollar on that, baby.
Oh, a full dollar, and that's the Kentucky Ole Miss game.
Yes, sir.
Over 52. Over
Yes,
52.
sir.
Kentucky Ole Miss, a whole dollarino on that one. That gives the second game of the week. I'm gonna go Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Give me Oklahoma State plus the 5. You know what? Give me Oklahoma State plus the 5. I like this. Kansas State coming off of getting walloped by BYU. Oklahoma State coming off of I wouldn't say tough loss, just a loss to Utah that probably shouldn't have happened. Both these teams are looking for a win, and this would kind of dictate where both these teams kind of end up at the end of the Big 12 regular season. This is huge for conference standings, and I think Oklahoma State gets it done on the road.
Perfect. Listen, look. Here's what I'm looking now. I'm looking at Louisville, Notre Dame.
Oh, you have to pick this.
I have to pick with you.
Wait.
What did you pick on Ole Miss, Kentucky?
Oh, that's right. Okay, I get what's happening. Wait, okay, yeah, okay. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
All right, I'm looking at Louisville, Notre Dame. I'm going to go ahead and take Louisville to cover this 6.5-point spread that they are not favored against. In fact, I would take. Fuck it. I'm taking Louisville straight up.
All right, Louisville money line. He's got $3 to play with. How much we put? We putting 50 cents on this one, baby.
We're putting 50 cents on that one.
50 cents on that one. All right. $1.50 in. I'm going. My game number 3 here. No, I think we picked the same game because I remember that. So for the Kentucky Ole Miss game, I'm just gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Ole Miss minus the 15.5. So Ole Miss minus the 15.5. That'll be my pick for that. What's your pick for the Oklahoma State Kansas? The over under is 57.5.
I'm gonna take the under.
Under 57.5. How much?
50 cents,
50
baby.
cents on. All right, we got $2 down, 2 to go. In your next game, Notre Dame Louisville game, picked win that game straight up. And I'm going to go ahead and join you on that. I'm going to join you with Louisville Moneyline, baby. We're riding Louisville Moneyline. When we match, we don't lose. That's how it works this season thus far. So I'm picking Louisville Moneyline. I kind of feel the same way I feel about this BYU game last week. I have the same kind of vibes here. I think Louisville spanks the shit out of Notre Dame. I don't think it's close. I mean, I'm telling you, Louisville's coming for these Catholics, and they are not altar boys. They are coming with baseball bats to beat the brains out of the Jesus freaks. So there you go. There's that. Game number 4. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Arkansas, Texas A&M. Give me Arkansas money line. I like the Arkansas money line. I like the Hogs here. Texas A&M. Let's see how good their defense really is. I think Arkansas's quarterback running back combination is one of the most lethal combinations ever. It's going to really be the defense of Arkansas that's going to have to win this game for them. But the offense is good enough to get it done. Give me the Hogs money line.
I'm going to go ahead and take the over on this one. Over 51.
Over 51. He's got $2 to play with, and he's game number 4. So we have more after this. How much you want on this one?
50 cents, baby.
50 cents. Big time spender out here. 50 cents. We're trying to stay breathing here at the sports book. We're not going to drain all your savings. Go ahead and give me your next game. Game number 5 here.
Well, we're going Homer. Oklahoma at Auburn. Right now the spread is Auburn -1. Give me Oklahoma to win this fucking game.
Oklahoma money line at -102. And what are we putting on this one?
That's a full dollar, baby.
Full dollar. Oh, baby. He's
Lock it up.
going in.
Lock it
Is
up.
that a lock? Is that a lock?
It's a lock.
All right, that's a lock. And your other lock
Auburn shit.
is the over 52. Ole Miss Kentucky's your other lock, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Last game. Let's treat ourselves to some good football here. When I say good football, I mean good old-fashioned football. A game that a lot of people are talking about. A game people are gonna watch, and it's gonna be a ready game. It's Georgia, Alabama, baby. We're going Georgia, Alabama for the last game of the week. It just means more. And give me the Alabama money line. Give me Alabama money line. I'm picking the Crimson Tides right up. I'm going with the home field advantage. I'm going with the win Tuscaloosa. I think that Kentucky game for Georgia may have woken up Georgia a little bit, so they're going to be a little bit more feisty. So it's going to be a tough one. I don't think it's going to be one of those where Georgia feels like, oh, maybe Kentucky almost got us. We feel bad for ourselves. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is a very resilient group of kids, and they're going to come out swinging. But Alabama gets it done at home.
You know what? Let's make this entertaining. Give me Georgia straight up.
Straight up. It's the Georgia Bulldogs at -115 straight up. 50 cents on that bad boy will wrap it up for you. And that will give you a parlay total, folks, of $304 to win $306 if you just go ahead and sweep this weekend. The pyramid of contemplation is out, folks. I'm gonna let you know it's looking pretty good for Zach right now. Not gonna lie. My locks of the week are Louisville money line, and I'm also locking in the. I'm locking in. Did I pick the OU game?
I don't know. Did you?
I don't know if I did or not. If I didn't, I'm picking the under 44.5. Is my other lock of the week. Under 44.5 for the Auburn OU game. I think we're going to see really, really bad offenses out there on Saturday. It's going to be a defensive struggle. Defense might score more than the offense, but that's going to do it. The St0ner Sports Book, and that's going to do it for episode 79, baby. 79 episodes in the book. Episode 80 coming at you next week. Zach, any final thoughts for you heading to the weekend for these kind folks?
Hey, go Rutgers, baby. They're beating Washington right now.
Oh, they're doing a
Rutgers, baby.
It's sold out. There's a blackout happening up there in New Jersey, so big time stuff happening there. And like you said, Virginia Tech pulling the upset right now, up 7 on Miami. Enjoy your weekend, folks. We'll have this episode up for you before kickoff tomorrow, and we'll actually have it out tonight, but you'll be able to view it before kickoff in its entirety. We'll have it all straightened out for you at Chapters Divided. You'll be able to quick hit it up and find what you need to get your Saturday rolling. Let's have a good weekend. Let's win some money. Let's make some people happy. Let's get it on.com. St0ner Sports Radio here on YouTube, baby. Horns down all the time, and I'm telling you right now, side note, right now, I'm telling you right now, Mississippi State covers. Mississippi State covers, baby. Jeff Lebby, I believe.
Texas is not that good.
They're not that good. Mississippi State might win. Okay.
Michigan's just that bad.
Let's calm down. Mississippi State's not winning.
Michigan's just that bad.
Michigan's awful. Michigan loses again this weekend. Minnesota's got them. Go Gophers. I'm taking the Gophers money line. Let's go, baby. Gophers money line, baby. No, they're getting smoked. All right, we'll see you next time here. Keep a stick on the ice. We'll see you next time.